This is an old Honda Accord 97. It had been standing for about 2 years, and I got it going again. On the test drive, the brakes gave away, and I knew that there was trouble. I also knew it couldn't be the master cylinder because I had replaced it with a new one. But I did check it, and I saw there was a loss of fluid. The next thing I did was to check the four wheels to see if there was any leakage at the brakes. But everything was dry. There was no sign of leakage. Even though all four of the wheels were dry, I found some brake fluid dripping from the back of the vehicle, and I knew that the problem would be in the brake line up there. So here I found the culprit. The brake line rusted through. This is the gas tank right here, and just behind the gas tank, as the brake line goes through to the right rear wheel, it's rusted through. I'll show you what it looks like. So now I've got the problem here, and we can see that it's a rusted brake line right here. But the difficulty, of course, is how to get access to that. Now, this brake line will have to be cut, as well as the other side of this, and a new piece inserted there. So the next step for me now would be to take off this gas tank right here to give me access to that, so I can cut those lines. Not only will I have to cut them, but they will have to be flared, and then a new piece have to be inserted. So these are the parts and tools you'll need for this job. You'll need a new piece of brake line. Mine is 3/16. You'll need two connectors. I think the right word is a union for them. And you need some, brake clean. You need some gloves. You need some safety glasses, especially because you'll be underneath the vehicle and there's lots of dust, dirt and debris down there. Then what you'll need is a tube cutter to cut your brake line. You'll need a flare tool to flare the brake line. Then you'll need some pliers, clip removal tool, at least a Phillips screwdriver, and then some wrenches, 17mm, 13, maybe 14, 12, 10, lots of 10s. There's a lot of 10s on this job, so you'll need some different ones. If you have a ratcheting 10 like that one, that's great to use that. Line wrench, I have a 10 for that as well. And then on the ratchets, you have 3/8 and 1/4 inch, 10, 12 and 14 sizes, and then universals to use and some extensions as well. This is should get you through, and then the first thing now to do, of course, is to drop that fuel tank. To get the brake fluid out your system, you can empty the master cylinder with a turkey baster, and then you can also use some sort of leverage like this to keep your brake pedal pushed down, and while you do that, then the brake fluid won't be dripping out of the brake line. So this is the problem area, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut over here, because I've got space going around here to get that tube cutter around. So I'll cut over here. This looks pretty solid. And then what I'll also do is I'll cut on this side once again here where I've got space, and it looks pretty solid. And then I'll just replace from here right through to here, and hopefully that should do the trick. So I'm going to cut over here. I just got to leave enough space to do the double flare. A good wipe. It looks pretty clean. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I'll cut it right there. So I just need to tighten this up, and then this goes around, tighten again, goes around again, tighten, and roll it around. There it goes. And that's it. Eventually it cuts right through. go. So now that I've removed this piece of brake line from the vehicle, I can take my new brake line and I can just bend this in exactly the same shape, and then hopefully just install this straight up. I'm going to use a socket over here to try and bend this so that I don't crack it and I don't pinch it. That works pretty well. I've got to get this at the same angle as that, so I need to go a little bit more. Just a tad more. There you go. That looks pretty good. So this is pretty close. Maybe not perfect, but it should be able to fit. Once you have your new piece of brake line prepped, just put it in place and make sure it's going to fit. And this one looks like it's going to be good to go. So once you know that this is going to be good, then you can go ahead and you can prep your existing brake line. Get this double flared and then just connect that. I'm going to have to cut some of this plastic back so I have space for the bolt to go over. Now you want to prepare your surface here. You can just use a utility knife to deburr that inside. You can use a file just to make sure the outside here is free of any burrs. Once you've got your surface prepared, you take your connector bolt, slide it across. Now you put your flare tool on. Make sure it's flush against your stopper over here. And then you tighten these to clamp down screws. These are 10 millimeters, and it's important to make sure you've got them flush down. Now you remove your stopper. Remember to go in with the concave bit first. Bit of paste on there, and then it screws right in. This is a 17 mil, and you're going to screw that. You're going to make sure you wrench that right down until it stops out against your block. Once it's stopped, now you're going to just loosen it. Now it's time to reverse. Go in with the pointy side. Now it's the same procedure. You tighten this up all the way until that stops out, and then you just loosen it. Now it's just a matter of loosening your bolts, your 10 mil bolts again. And there you have it. Beautiful double flare. So now it's just a matter of connecting these up. It's best to use a line wrench when you tighten these down. Make sure you don't strip them out. And when you tighten them, they have to be pretty snug. They have to bottom out, but you don't have to over tighten them. there you go. Once you've tightened both sides, you're done. So once you've got these tightened up, then it's just a matter of refilling your brake line with brake fluid. Make sure you don't have any leaks. Then you can put your fuel tank back on, put everything back in place, bleed your brakes, go for a test drive, and then you're good to go. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.